You're listening to On the Road, a podcast powered by Otto Car. In terms of, I asked about requirements and eligibility for drivers. I think it's a bit different to your normal kind of private hire, share operator. So how can you give a quick explanation to how that works?
Yeah, sure. So we ask to see your license beforehand. We don't want anyone with more than 6 points. We need an element of control. You know, you could be the nicest guy ever, but speed everywhere, and loads of customers really puts that off. We also ask for we want to see your DBS check as well, because TfL will issue licenses to people with certain convictions that we look at and we say, well, look, you know, we're dealing with corporate clients. Unfortunately, with certain convictions, we just can't take people on. We do ask people to do a bit of a knowledge test as well when they sign on, so they have at least a basic understanding of London roads, less so than it was 10 years ago when SatNav didn't exist. There is more of an understanding that you may not know where the Ivy Hotel is postcode wise, but if you wanted to take you there, you'd have no problem.
So what does that test consist of? Is it just getting in a car with a driver and asking them to take you somewhere?
Because you did say there was like
on the site it does say
driving knowledge.
You have to have a first class knowledge of London.
So
what does that mean?
We actually give them a topographical test essentially. So there used to be 100 questions on there. When I came in, I reduced that ever so slightly because 100 questions. 99? That's 99 and a half. No, it's now like 40 questions, but it's basically.
Well, that's longer than TfL's test. Yeah.
Well, but this is it. TfL.
You're researching it now, aren't you?
I am a little bit. Yeah.
You can teach them the ways.
I mean, the TfL one arguably does seem quite easy.
Yes.
Let's say. But it's something that it doesn't seem like a lot of drivers really use a map on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly, and I'm going to caveat with what we're doing. By the general day-to-day, you're going to get away with what you do with a SatNav. You don't need to have an absolute, black cab level of knowledge. Even black cabs sometimes will use SatNavs. I've got it on there. They use SatNav, so the SatNav is actually.
No, it's true. Some do.
Yeah, absolutely. SatNav in times can be the more powerful thing, right? It's a computer and it's based off traffic and SatNav.
Live data which you can't control.
Exactly, but we would like to know that if your SatNav went down, you would have at least a basic understanding of the M4 goes to Heathrow. So we ask questions like how many terminals are there at Heathrow? Name some mainline terminus stations. Where's the Ivy Hotel? Where's the Dorchester Hotel? Where would you find, Gaucho Restaurant? Or, little things like this.
That sounds pretty difficult.
Can you tell me? I
couldn't answer any of this.
Wayne the driver.
So I hope he could.
The pressure is on. Come on, Wayne.
I've never
silence.
So I know.
If I was taking an EasyJet flight, where in Heathrow?
The funny how my knowledge.
He actually did the test and passed.
Okay.
So
on the record.
Yes.
Realistically, I'm not going to talk about me, but realistically, a SatNav does tell you where you're going. Yeah. But listen, you need to know the basics of London, because a SatNav sometimes, if I'm driving someone at 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., I don't need to go back roads. No. Sometimes I can just go. I just need to go around the main back roads and the bumps. You're making it longer. If you don't know the basics, you're just going to make it. And a lot of us, when we're in a cab, either we're drunk or whatever, we just want to get to where we're going to. If you're going along
in a safe
way
and precise manner, of course.
Safe. With the speed limit, obviously.
29
you need to know the basics. Maybe not as extreme as knowing where the Ivy Hotel is or whatever, but you need to know the basics of London.
And also that test for kind of those questions, so it isn't kind of like a pass or fail. So it isn't that you come in and if you get loads wrong, we're going to say you can't drive for us. But what it does help us determine is like, right, how good a driver are you? We're not just going to take anyone and go, right, there's an E-Class, off you go, go and pick up the CEO of a FTSE 100 company. However, if you've done very well in your test and you can see that you've got a working knowledge of London above your SatNav, then it shows that you've got a bit of experience. And worst case scenario, if that guy, said, I do not want you to use your SatNav, or your SatNav breaks down, we're not going to have a problem where you're going to call us and go, I don't know where I'm going. Yeah. So, although we do have a test there is, we're not solely going, right, if you don't know where the Ivy Hotel is, we can't work with you.
So how do you test for something like driver manner?
So it's interesting, really. So we do try and do a little bit of a drive around with drivers. More recently, we're looking at a technological approach to it. So we've got we're doing a trial at the minute with a company where they've got dash cams, but they pick up on driver behaviour. So if the driver's distracted, it will tell you that the driver's distracted. So if he keeps his eyes off the road for 5 seconds, then an audible clip is made and you can look at those clips and then it builds up a score of the driver.
It's a lot of data to store.
These cameras are amazing.
We've kind of looked into something similar from our side, obviously.
They're incredible.
Being a fleet,
Afterwards, I'll tell you the company.
I
don't want to say it now, exactly.
Yeah. Are you also testing like their English or how they talk with passengers, or is that not?
Absolutely. So, we have an interview with a driver beforehand. We do have a chat with them. Generally, we ask them kind of a few qualifying questions, such as, certainly for the full-time drivers who are going to work with us on a more regular basis, we ask them like scenarios such as you find yourself in Covent Garden, you've been sent the postcode for a location, but you don't know where the pickup is. Tell me what you do. Mm-hmm. And just learn, kind of gauging their response. What would they do? Would they call the passenger? Would they call control? What would they do to try and find it? And that generally gives you a good idea of A, how good their English language skills are, but also what they would do in certain situations, how they would communicate.
So would you argue that more companies, like even the Ubers and people like that, should be doing things like that, or do you think it's something specific to your
different clientele though?
Yeah, definitely.
Different clientele.
Definitely. I think you don't want to. The realities of it now are that most people, when they get in an Uber or a Via van or whatever, they just want to get home. They're not overly bothered with the driver's communication skills. As long as they can take them from A to B in a safe manner, you're okay. So, we've got varying different degrees of work. Some of it is less kind of high level than others. For the more high level work, though, we need to be strict. Simply because these guys will have to engage with these clients. They will have to think on their own 2 feet. If there is a problem, we can't babysit you kind of through problems. So it's a bit of both. I personally would say that you can afford to put a little bit less emphasis on it, as long as you kind of continually track that driver and check his performance.